I'm Terry Laraw. I'm a member of Cowessess First Nation. I've been here on the First Nation all my life, never left it, and grew up with cattle on a mixed farm my mom and dad had. We started 4C Farms in February 2019. I hired on to be their cattle manager and ranch manager, and we started farming a little bit, but we weren't successful trying to pull a crop off on the north side of the valley where it's really marginal land. So I approached the chief and council and I said, if you want us to farm, let us farm the best quality land that we have on Cowessess First Nation. And they agreed with me, so we come back here and we looked for a place to set up and looked at the lay of the land. Right here we're on the southeast quarter of section 29, 18.5 on Cowessess First Nation, and this is our new bin yard, our new farm yard it's going to be in the end. When we started building here in 2020, there was nothing in this area here but a basketball-sized rock. There was absolutely nothing. This is the results of 5 years labor and planning and cooperation from all entities on Cowessess First Nation.
Cowessess has always had an incredible legacy when it comes to agriculture. As First Nations people, we have had a very complicated history with what is now Canada. That has come through genocidal policies to take away our original way of life. We have always been hunters and gatherers, and as Cowessess people have utilized the land in the best way possible for our medicines and sustenance.
So here I identified a plant that our ancestors used to use, and not too long ago I remember my mom actually digging out these plants, showing us what they were. And these are wild turnips. They actually used to dry the root and use it for flour, pulverize it and make flour, and they use it for their bannock and their bread. Just yesterday I was out checking my cows on a sandy spot. I came across this item that the wind and the rain uncovered either a scraper or was the part of a huge arrowhead. But when you look at the symmetrical views of it, it definitely was made to be what I think is a scraper for probably the buffalo hides, the bison hides, the deer hides. A tool that was made by our First Nation people for harvesting the bison or the buffalo or the deer or elk or whatever was out here most. That would be my dream, to learn how to make this and go back to the original ways.
Since colonization and since we became Canada, there were certain policies that occurred that took away that old way of life. There was an effort to have our Indigenous people, our First Nations people here on Cowessess become farmers. That is where Cowessess really began to shine. We had incredible farm families where it was the entire family, the wife, the kids, the husband, that ensured the success of the crops. We had communal ways of assisting each other for those crops. Now, unfortunately, even back in those days, even though we were demonstrating that we had the greatest farmland, we had the crops to prove it, even then the Indian agent controlled the crops and the amount of money that was received by our farmers. As Canada evolved, so did those policies, but the great traditions of Cowessess and the farming families continued.
My name's Gary Pelche here from the Cowessess First Nation. Working in the farming industry, geez, since I was 11 years old, I can remember driving the tractor across the field. Seeing the look in my dad's eyes, you know, how proud he must have felt watching me. And that's one of the things what we're trying to do with our farm. Generating revenue, building equity for the band. The best way we feel, instead of renting our land out, we'll do it ourselves. We'll farm it ourselves. And not only revenue, but creating employment, building the capacity of our people through employment. Those young fathers we have going on those tractors, they're little ones watching them go on that tractor, the excitement, what you're building inside of them, they're gonna grow up and wanna be doing stuff like that, watching their dads. And you see the amazement look on their faces when they watch those machines. My God, it's like getting on a house and driving that house. Some of those machines are 80 feet long. That's like 2 houses together pulling them. Can you imagine getting off that tractor after a day and saying, hey, I did that? That's what we want to build in our people.
My name is Dallas Redwood. I am a trucker and equipment operator out here at 4C Farms, getting things done, showing what we can do for First Nations farming, getting the seed and all that, getting everything done around the farm here. My little girl, she comes with me some days, and you know, she's very interested in like the computers and all that inside the machine, and I show her all that. Before we start, I showed her the circle check, and like that's all she ever talks about now. And you know, she's so proud of getting into the farming. That's what she says, I want to be a farmer, you know. Yeah, that makes me happy.
I want to be a farmer. I like to sit in the truck with him and I also like to do circle checks now. So you just walk around and see any kind of thing it's broken, and then you just check. I'm gonna have the same truck.
I'm Brian Whitestar. I'm from the Cowessess First Nation. I left home back in 2004 to go out pipelining on the oil patch. I made a career out of that for 13 years and came home in 2017 to make a different life for myself. And here I am working with Cowessess 4C Ranch, cultivating, harrowing, and seeding the land that we own. I love working out here on the farm and working with the agricultural part of things here, seeding and planting the canola, barley, and wheat. It's a good opportunity for me to work our land, and proud to be working the land of Cowessess First Nation. It benefits the community. We have our own equipment. We're only expanding. Yeah, my son too, he's 14 years old. His name's Lucas Leighton Whitestar. He's from Cowessess also. He's gonna be a farmer hopefully with me also, you know, when he grows up to come farming when he's done school and graduating.
With our 4C farms, rather than just leasing the land out to pasture, we built our own fence. We built a brand of cattle that are way up there when it comes to the breeding. That's one of the things Terry's good at. All his life he bred animals and he raised the cows, and that's what we're doing.
If we're going to raise cows, we're going to raise the best quality cows we can. It takes the same amount of dollars to raise a poor cow as it does to raise a good cow. In order for cows to be healthy, they have to have a reliable water supply every day. That's one of the reasons we have them out here. So behind us we got a solar-powered water pump and motion detector. When the cows walk up to drink, the pump kicks in and fills the trough. And then when the cows walk away, the trough drains back into the well system, so there's never anything to freeze.
With our farming, well over 5,000 acres. Could be looking at 10,000 within a couple of years, no problem. And we're just building our people up and the equity of our band. So both things are a plus. And now that we're getting into the bison, another big plus, because I raised bison myself for 14 years, and I know just the fact being around them can be healing. Learning about them, we were so integrated when it came to life and how we lived with the bison, that without the bison, we wouldn't be here.
It'll be 2023, somewhere around there. NCIAF approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in working with NCIAF as a reconciliation ag advisor. And it's all about food sovereignty, food sustainability. That's our goal, is to create means of food production for our First Nations. And that's what NCIAF was all about. It's all about food production, food sovereignty, food sustainability. Without their partnership and without their enthusiasm to see these kind of projects grow, it should be really tough. Every bit of support they offer us is uplifting to all First Nations across Canada.
We're really at a time here of growth, of reclamation as 4C Farms. Every year we are becoming more and more independent and less dependent on outside farmers, creating an interdependence on our First Nation through employment, through the knowledge that we have, and moving towards a really bright future for Cowessess where people could have food sustainability. We're looking at bringing what our people require in order for us to not only exist but prosper as a nation.
Helping First Nation people succeed in food sovereignty and in farming their own land and helping their own people, opening up the doors and teaching the younger generation about food sustainability. Just a great thing that's happening, that's going on here. It gives us something to think about when we're ending off our day and something to get up for in the morning to see where we could get with this project for our people.